Hi, I'm Ty Walker with Artistic Recovery. Today we'll be talking about Narcan and what that is. And today I have with me Christine Michiaels. Christine is the Director of Peer Services at 320 Recovery. Christine has experience, both personal and professional, through recovery, and today we'll be talking about Narcan. So Christine, can you tell us what Narcan is?
Yeah, so Narcan or naloxone is a non-addictive drug that's used to reverse opiate overdoses. It's most commonly in the form of a nasal spray like the one that I have today.
And so can you also tell us about, just explain what opiates are then?
Yeah, so I do think it is really important to understand what an opiate is, so there's no confusion if somebody is overdosing on, say, a benzo or a stimulant, because this is for opiates specifically and would not do anything for, any other type of overdose.
Gotcha.
But opiates, they're depressant drugs. They're used to dull the senses of someone experiencing high levels of pain or anxiety. Some are legal, and that would be like morphine or codeine, and then others are illegal, and that would be like heroin or the carfentanil that we've been hearing so much about lately.
So you talked about overdose. So can you explain what is an overdose, what happens, and also what are the signs of it that we can look for?
Yeah. So essentially an overdose is when the opiates hijack the respiratory center. So it really slows down your breathing and your heart rate, and it will slow it down enough that it can actually make you lose consciousness and then eventually stop breathing completely. So the cause of overdoses is too high of a dose of an opiate. And so especially lately with the fentanyl and the carfentanil, that's why these accidental overdoses happen so often, because you just don't know the dose that you're truly putting in. And then an overdose, that can look different for each person, but typically, you'll have the pinpoint pupils, kind of drowsy, a lot of people nodding out, that's kind of like the start. So confusion, if somebody's unconscious, those are definitely the signs and the time to start worrying a little bit.
Yeah. So in the event of an overdose, then how does one administer Narcan?
So the first step would be to try and rouse the person, try and wake them, shaking their shoulders, yelling their name. I'm not sure if you've ever done the sternum rub, but it is definitely painful. So a lot of people encourage you to do that. And usually that will bring somebody kind of back to, and if it doesn't, that would be the time where you would actually start to administer the dose. And with that, it's very simple. Like I said, it's just like a nasal spray, so we would just unpackage it. Every single one of these comes with a quick start guide, so in the event that you get nervous or you forget or you just don't quite understand or not sure that you're doing the right thing, you can always refer to the directions. But with it, you'll place your 2 fingers on either side of the nozzle and then your thumb on the plunger. The person that's experiencing the overdose, you would just slightly tilt their head up and then place this into their nostril and press the plunger. You should have some type of reaction almost immediately. As a general rule of thumb, they say to wait about 2 minutes before administering a second dose if that's needed. But regardless, after that first dose is administered, emergency services need to be contacted. So just letting them know, I have a medical emergency, this is where I'm at. It's the details to get them to you. But the biggest thing to do is to wait. Do not leave that person alone. They can slip back into an overdose even if that does bring them out immediately. And then once emergency personnel get there, just being able to tell them as much detail as you can. If you knew what the drug was, or if this was the first time, when it happened, anything that would be relevant and help to save this person's life.
Gotcha. So where can we find Narcan then?
Nationally, you can go to the harmreduction.org website. They have a naloxone locator for every single state. And even if your state doesn't offer it, then they even have a link that they can actually deliver it to your house directly and make sure that it gets into the hands.
Yeah.
It's usually little to no cost going through these programs. Your local health department, pharmacies like Walgreens or CVS, they carry it. It does have a little bit higher price, but nonetheless, you can get that into your hands or whoever is actually in need of it.
Gotcha. So are there any risks or dangers when administering Narcan?
There is not. So if you give Narcan to a person that does not have opiates in their system, absolutely nothing will happen.
That's good, yeah.
And even, a step further, it's safe for children, it's safe for pregnant mothers. There's no worry about misusing this. There's not a drug that you can get high on in it. It is extremely safe and very effective. So
That's awesome.
if you or someone you know is struggling with substances, you can call the SAMHSA National Hotline. It's 1-800-662-4357. They have a treatment locator and can get you connected to whatever you're in need of.